1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check, check.
Number 22, Tony Eddywell. Number 23, Richie Bucket. Number 36, Romeo.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Yeah.
And now, here is the starting of
another week and a half.
Cincinnati.
Do it on talk line.
At goalkeeper from Livonia, Michigan. A defender from Cincinnati, Ohio. Number 2, Matt. A defender from Utrecht, Netherlands. Number 51, Sam. A defender from Leystone, England. Number 32, Justin. A defender from Sydney, Australia. Number 4, Harrison. A midfielder from Girona, Spain. Number 99. A midfielder from Redwood, Ohio. Number 6, Kenny.
What?
A midfielder
He's with Jimmy.
Texas.
He got his guy.
Team Harvard. A midfielder from Harvard, Pennsylvania, number 20, Jimmy. A forward from Sacramento, California, number 23, Andrew. And a forward from Tinberg, Denmark, number 11, Danny. FC Cincinnati is led by head coach Alan Koch, assistant coach Johan DeMay, athletic trainer Aaron Powell, Springfield, and team head coach everybody but I rally from UCL. FC Cincinnati is presented by UCL. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
As the USL regular season winds down, the intensity escalates as teams position for a coveted playoff berth. Today will be a crystal clear example of just that. FC Cincinnati welcomes Pittsburgh for a crucial Eastern Conference battle. Next. Good afternoon and welcome on the campus of the University of Cincinnati, where the orange and blue clad supporters are marching their way inside of Nippert Stadium as the rain's supposed to dry up and a crowd in excess of 20,000 is expected for the second meeting this season between FC Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. A live look at the Eastern Conference standings 4 through 9. Of course, position 4 means a home playoff match. Right now, Cincinnati in 8th, just 4 points out of 4th, and Pittsburgh 1 point behind FC Cincinnati. Tom Glitter thrilled to be alongside All-American Kevin McCloskey as we get you set for the second meeting this year between these two clubs. And for the orange and blue, Kevin, they last played on August 23rd, a 3-1 win in convincing fashion for Alan Koch's troops, and they've been off ever since. And for the first time this year, we're going to see a club that's rested.
I think what a time of the season too. You know, you're going through the stretch. I think this will do the world of good for the players and even the coaching staff too, Tommy, tonight. So they've had a good week of training from what Alan said, and hopefully they're prepared and ready for Pittsburgh tonight.
Danny Koenig started the match against Ottawa. We'll see him in the 11 again tonight as we take a look at tonight's key matchup driven by your Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. Danny, your focus this evening.
And Danny was such an impact on the game last against Ottawa. You know, his work rate, his energy, he's just a relentless player, and it's really a nightmare for any centre back. And I think Jamal Jack has been a very strong player for them, so it'll be a tough contest between the both tonight.
Well, the cities of Cincinnati and Pittsburgh have been great rivals for many, many years in football and baseball. They meet on the pitch for the 5th time ever this afternoon. Starters in the first touch when we return. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer.
I don't know, I could hear you. Yeah, I could hear you. Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, loud and clear. Now I can hear you loud and clear. Maybe because I have B3 this time. Does that matter? Super Bubs has led FC Cincinnati onto the pitch here this afternoon. The rain has stopped, and a spectacular afternoon is planned for two teams vying for a playoff spot. Tom Glitter, happy to be back with you alongside Kevin McCloskey. Our starting lineups tonight brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places for FC Cincinnati in first year. Head coach Alan Koch, just one change from the win a week and a half ago against Ottawa. Josu in at left fullback because Tyler Pollock cannot go. We'll tell you more about that here in a moment. Otherwise, 10 of the same 11 starters from that Ottawa game. For Pittsburgh, one starting position to note. We'll talk about some of the other guys, but the goalkeeper, Matt Perella, making just his second start of the year. Major goalkeeping injuries right now for Pittsburgh. A couple guys up top who have the opportunity to score, and Kevin will talk about them plenty as we go along. All of our sideline reports today are brought to you by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. For the first time tonight, let's check in on the weather and more with Lindsay Patterson. Yeah, guys, it is a little wet
down here. We had some of that heavy rain throughout the day on Friday. Heavy drizzle about an hour prior to the match. Right now, light sprinkles. But if you were to ask the players, including Mitch Hildebrandt, they tell you it's perfect out here for soccer. But it did delay flipping the field a little bit. UC had a football game here on Thursday. Normally takes about 16 hours. This time 22, and they just finished painting the field at noon today.
Thank you, Lindsay. The pitch looks great considering American football was played here less than 48 hours ago. Tonight's match official was brought to you by Kingsgate Transportation. We can take it from here, and our official man in the middle tonight, Joseph Dickerson, will watch the two teams. FC Cincinnati with a bit of a different look for the match, wearing their alternate orange kits tonight. Orange tops with the traditional blue shorts and orange socks to mix it up against rival Pittsburgh, who will wear their yellow tops, black shorts, and yellow socks in the 5th ever meeting between these two clubs is underway here at Nippert Stadium.
Big game tonight, Tommy. Obviously two teams fighting for the same thing, really, to get into that playoff spot. Very balanced, very evenly matched teams as well. As Lindsay talked about, I think conditions are perfect for any type of player.
This match was an orange out last year when the two teams met in May of the 2016 season. FC Cincinnati won that match 1-0. A shot from about 25 yards away comes from Corey Herzog, the leading scorer on the season with 10 goals. The forward puts it right onto the chest of Mitch Hildebrandt, no trouble. FC Cincinnati, that match last year, wore the orange kits for that game and were victorious. Today's injury report is presented by the Levy Law Offices. They turn your crash into cash. I told you more information about Tyler Pollock. He injured his ankle and his heel yesterday. Actually in training, was a little bit wet. They were playing across the way at Equalizing Stadium as they were preparing the pitch here at Nippert, and he was hurt in the conditions, so Alan Koch made the decision to hold him out of the 18 today. Otherwise, he was going to be in the starting lineup. The good news is you can easily replace him with Joe Suk. Bit of a tough situation there as Mitch Hildebrandt trying to get rid of it, put it right into the face of Justin Hoyt, and was lucky it didn't become more of a dangerous situation.
I think already, Tommy, it's been a very fast start for Pittsburgh. You saw that early shot from Herzog. Gets past again, Josu, I think, or maybe Kenny Walker on that right-hand side. Mitch has been tested twice and come up very solid.
Right before that shot by Romeo Parks, Mitch was trying to send it out into the midfield, and Justin Hoyt got in the way. Fortunately, he was able to get up quickly, and Pittsburgh was unable to capitalize on the error. Washington will send it over to the far side. In the previous 4 meetings between these two clubs, FC Cincinnati has won 3 of those 4, all by the score of 1-0. The other match was a draw at 0-0. So Pittsburgh has never scored against Cincinnati in the previous 4 matches. FC Cincinnati has just tallied 3 goals. Danny Koenig working to try to get it off the foot of Jamal Jack. That was your key matchup moments ago that we discussed.
You're going to see a lot of work rate, just like the Ottawa game last week at Danny Koenig. I thought really that was the difference in the game, was the front 3, Jimmy McLaughlin, Danny Koenig, and Andrew Wiedemann. I mean, set such a high standard for the entire team, and everybody else kind of reacted that way to it.
25 yards away, Corey Herzog gets a shot off and buries it in the back of the net. An early start by Pittsburgh, who ends the scoreless streak against the Orange and Blue.
Fantastic strike by Herzog. You saw the first shot he hit, probably from about 25 yards out. Mitch had reacted to that. The second opportunity doesn't miss, I'll tell you that. Gets this ball, looks up, sees there's a little bit extra space here as he turns in. Sam DeVitt, left foot, tucked into the far side of the goal. Gotta say, Tommy, that's a clean finish right there.
Snuck right around Sam DeVitt, and then the celebration on the early strike for Pittsburgh, who's been one of the hottest teams in the Eastern Conference over the last month. They were undefeated in the month of August, 3-0-1, and coming in here on the road, where they've actually played really well on the road this year, and getting a goal.
I think, I mean, they've got a lot of attack with Herzog and Walsh, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but even with Parks and Kerr on the right-hand side and the left-hand side as well. It's a very dynamic and a very dangerous attacking forward, Tommy.
Hoyt into the midfield, puts it onto the foot of Corbin Bone. Now Jimmy McLaughlin Going to send it out wide to the left where Josu has it on his foot. Josu hasn't played in 2 weeks. He was actually out, suspended for the match against Ottawa. Also was dealing with some swelling in his knee, so he wouldn't have been available even if he had not been suspended in that August 23rd match. And both these clubs know how important today is. Pittsburgh with the early strike. And now FC Cincinnati going to push into the attacking third for the first time today. Andrew Wiedemann off the touch from Koenig, a bit heavy. Couldn't control it. Tonight's keys to the match are brought to you by your Tri-State Chevy dealers, and maybe a little bit of change now, but still the same for you, Kevin.
No, it's definitely, I mean, obviously the first thing is the work rate shown against Ottawa. It was fantastic last week, and they've got to match that. Second thing is keep Walsh and Herzog at bay, right? And we just saw it, and that's why it's a key, Tommy, you know? You can't give a forward like that amount of space. And throughout this game, I think the back three have got to pick up those two players. Very dangerous, very athletic, and very dynamic.
Corey Herzog, his 11th of the year. That ties him with GB Fall with 11 goals. Those two now tied at 6th in the USL in goals scored. GB available in the 18 today, but not starting as Danny Koenig gets the nod at striker.
I think you'll see this, just the intent again with Pittsburgh. They're pressing straight away, Tommy. Especially you can press it, if you're playing in a 4-4-2, which Pittsburgh are, you know, they can send their two wide players to help with the two forwards and press against that back three of FC Cincinnati. So Pittsburgh recognize it, they're doing it. I'm sure it's part of their game plan, and so far it's been successful.
Wow, FC Cincinnati let it come out on the near touchline, thinking they had an easy throw in, and then all of a sudden Pittsburgh changes the call. Or I'm sorry, Pittsburgh didn't change the call. Pittsburgh got the throw in because Joseph Dickerson received something on his earpiece that made him change the direction. Then he went to hear from the linesman on the near side and decided, no, after all, it goes to the orange and blue.
Yeah, I think that the center ref there just acknowledged Alan Cox that he made the mistake.
And it was a ball that FC Cincinnati could have played, and they knew it was rolling out, wanted to throw it in to put it back into play. Either way, in the defensive third, Sem de Wit will find it on his foot. Second straight game that Alan Koch has gone with a trio of center backs with Hoyt in the middle, Harrison Delbridge, who leads the team in minutes as far as outfielders are concerned, and then de Wit over on the right. Here's Walsh trying to get it forward for Romeo Parks. His touch a bit heavy, and Mitch will come over to scoop it up. Tonight's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by UC Health.
I think Tommy now is seeing the reaction from FC Cincinnati. You know, the last couple of home games, they've been the aggressor and scored first. Anytime that you concede, it's a true test of saying, hey, can we stick with this game plan? This is just one adverse moment. Doesn't change, you know, the remaining 83 minutes.
So yeah, I mean, 87 from the time the goal was scored. A big crowd is here, so they should certainly feed off the energy. Expecting a number around 22,000. Here's the foul at midfield. Minimal contact. No, sorry, there it is.
I think just the big thing too, not only the reaction is like, okay, what about this opponent? You know, how are they playing? Can you pick up the tendencies quickly? And how can we get some success? So far, you know, the first 8 minutes of the game, it's been played in FC Cincinnati's half.
Harrison Delbridge battling his foul, trying to get it out of the defensive third. Pittsburgh not real happy with the call, and FC Cincinnati's going to try to get it back into play as Delbridge collects himself after the collision.
A little bit of a tussle here. I think it's just how he lands, honestly, Tommy. I think he catches his arm, maybe his shoulder.
Maybe shoulder, yeah. Came down on the big Aussie. I talked about all the minutes Harrison has played. Coming up on 2,000 minutes in league play, wow. 1977. Then that doesn't even include playing all 6 matches of the Open Cup, 3 of which went to extra time. So he's well over 2,500 minutes this summer already. Koenig trying to get into the middle to Wiedemann. Pittsburgh able to turn it away defensively. Boehner on the right side trying to keep it alive.
I think another big key for FC Cincinnati today is trying to test his goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You know, Pittsburgh have certainly had some trouble with a goalkeeping position.
Well, I mentioned that off the top, that Matt Perella making just his 2nd start of the year. And I want to talk more about the goalkeeping situation for Pittsburgh here in a moment as they try to work it out into the midfield. Walsh can't get there. Kenny Walker will push it over to Delbridge because 23 of their 25 starts are out for the season for goalkeeper position.
And my point on that with the goalkeeper, I mean, they've got to start being a little bit more direct here with that reaction that we talked about. Can they start playing in Pittsburgh's half, put it in the space between the back line of Pittsburgh and the goalkeeper, and see how he handles it?
Matt Perella started the last match for Pittsburgh. That was last Saturday against Bethlehem Steel, a 3-2 win. Gave up 2 goals in his debut for the club. Alex Kapp actually was called up on loan from Minnesota United, so he's on loan with the Riverhounds right now as the backup. So 1 USL start this year between those two. Kapp, a guy who had not yet played for Minnesota and hasn't played anywhere this summer, so not a lot of minutes at that position available for Dave Brandt.
Such a key position as well.
FC Cincinnati has yet to test Matt Perella, the 6'1", 25-year-old goalkeeper. Throw-in will come for Pittsburgh right at midfield, far side of the pitch. Tom Glitter, Kevin McCloskey, Lindsey Patterson, happy to be with you. Second to last home match of the 2017 regular season. Hard to believe that we're headed down the home stretch. But for the next 5 on the road for the Orange and Blue as they try to solidify a playoff spot and maybe inch their way up towards that 4 seed. Try to get one here at Nippert.
Yeah, tonight's going to be massive, Tommy. Obviously, before you go on that stretch of away games, we talked about it, just kind of the introduction statement is like, hey, this is almost a 50-50 game. They've got to be the aggressor. They're home. They have the advantage of the crowd behind them. Should be coming off a lot of confidence with a good week of training. Very good performance against Ottawa last week. And probably first time in a long time, the entire squad is healthy apart from Tyler Pollock, right?
Yeah, Tyler picked up that knock yesterday in training. Otherwise, it's a completely healthy and rested squad. Jimmy McLaughlin trying to chase it into the corner. Let's see if he can find a solid service. He cannot. It's turned away, but a throw-in will come from Josu deep in the attacking third. Oh, no question they're rested after that Wednesday night match against Ottawa. They got 4 days completely off. Many of the guys went home. Harrison Delbridge sending it towards the end line, but too strong. Couldn't get it to Wiedemann. Nice thought. Not perfectly executed, and actually was deflected by Pittsburgh. And we're going to have our first corner kick of the afternoon.
Probably the first chance, really, to test out this backline and this goalkeeper that we talked about.
All of today's corner kicks are brought to you by the Levy Law Offices. Turn your crash into cash. Visit LevyLawOffices.com today. Josu will cut across the pitch to take it with his left foot.
Just interesting seeing Pittsburgh. They've brought everyone back. No release players at all. They've got all 10 outfield players in the box.
Josu's service was sent for Delbridge, and Pittsburgh, with those extra numbers, needed him there because that ball was right headed for Delbridge's head. He was going to try to sneak it in the near post.
The Pittsburgh players claiming that Harrison maybe got that last touch on it.
Josu, a second chance, sending it in. DeVitt whiffs on it. Cleared away by Pittsburgh. Kenny Walker back out to Josu towards the corner. He'll send it again, going backwards. It sails over Matt Perella, but a couple good services there from Josu and maybe some offensive momentum building.
Love that second corner from Josu. I think he puts it right in the space where you've got to have a target player running in. Anytime that it's able to bounce in the center of the goal on the 6-yard box, you can't ask for a better delivery than that.
Well, no doubt the decision to bring all 10 outfielders inside of the 18-yard box paid off.
Well, I'm sure Pittsburgh, too, respect. You know, FC Cincinnati have scored a decent amount of goals on set pieces, corner kicks. So they respect that. Obviously, they're coming back and zonal, a combination, really, of zonal and man marking to make sure they kind of nullify that threat.
Okai will send it over to the right side. Now chip back forward in the direction of Walsh. Walsh finds it on his foot inside the 18. Corbin Bone able to clear it away. Right side of Wiedemann.
A lot of space here in front of Jimmy if he can find him.
Defender got to him right as he was trying to turn it up the pitch. Instead, he went short to Koenig, who lost his touch in the midfield. Washington working from the near touchline. Into the middle, great touch there by Romeo Parks, and now Parks and Koenig will get tangled up. And the foul will be called on Danny Koenig. Koenig will have a quick conversation with Joseph Dickerson. Koenig, one of 4 starters tonight for Alan Koch. That wasn't a part of this club when these two teams met for the first time this year, all the way back on April 1st.
I think our frustration there from Donny is just that last play. You remember Wiedemann tried to serve in, tried to do a little bit of a flick and it didn't come off. Donny's the type of guy that obviously holds very high standard for himself. He's probably a little bit disappointed and annoyed at himself really, and it bubbles over and results in that next foul.
Hoyt, DeWitt, Josu, and Koenig all not on the club, not even signed or traded for. When these two teams played early on in the season, it was the second match of the year for the orange and blue, and they were very much still finding themselves at that point.
It just shows you just the movement in the transfer market too, Tommy, of you know, kind of bringing players in for competition, solidifying a couple of spots, a couple of positions. Obviously forward was a big one as well. But I feel like FC Cincinnati, I think they've got a solid squad now. I think they've got a lot of those pieces together, Tommy, and like Alan talked about this week, it's so competitive in training. You know, people are fighting for spots. But all that goes out the window. It's about performance tonight in this game.
Well, certainly lots of time remaining. We've just rolled on into the 16th minute with Pittsburgh on top 1-0. And as the match goes on and these coaches play their chess match, Alan Koch has some pretty big pieces if he needs them in the second half to bring in and mix things up.
And this, you know, not to be disrespectful to Pittsburgh or sound like that, I think FC Cincinnati's bench is deeper than theirs too. You know, they probably have more threatening options to kind of come off and put into the lineup.
Just at first glance, you have GB available to come in with 11 goals
he's a big one, right?
Yeah, no doubt. You have a guy who's been the captain for most of the last 2 years, and Austin Berry available.
Yeah.
Kenny Walker serving as the captain tonight with Berry out, just as he did for the Ottawa match. Brought into the middle, Romeo Parks. Parks trying to get it around Walker, he does not. And it comes out to Boehner.
Just looking at Kenny Walker and Corbin Bone, they really haven't been involved in the game too much. Either side of the ball, honestly, you know, in defense or attack.
Tonight's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers.
Well played by Wiedemann.
Walker will get it forward. Koenig making the run onside. Right at the end line, tried to hook it into that 6-yard area. McLaughlin and made a run from the left, and Koenig maybe a step too late to save it.
That's much better by Kenny Walker. You know, he's really the heartbeat of the team, Tommy. You know, you want him on the ball, supporting all levels of the ball. And, you know, he gets that ball. That's the type of pass. So clean technically. Finds Danny Koenig. Again, another guy that really wants the ball in space rather than his feet.
Matt Perella, the goalkeeper who played collegiately at Ryder. Bounced around the NASL for a few years and was signed on August 10th. Not only is he just making his second start, he's only been with the club for 3 weeks.
Just an interesting view just of Pittsburgh's lineup too and their formation. You know, they do a good job of Kerr and Parks. They come inside and almost create like a box in midfield and allow their fullbacks to get in. So it's going to be a tough challenge for Corbin Bone and Kenny Walker to try to pick up. They'll have to try to get their wing backs, Matt Boehner and Josu, to come in and help.
Bone and Walker have done a great job anchoring the midfielders all season long for Alan Koch.
Absolutely.
Bone came off the bench the first time these two teams met.
See the skid on that ball.
And McLaughlin was trying to track it down. Now for Jimmy, with someone with his speed, he loves the wet track today. It did rain lightly until about 3:30, I would say, is when it stopped. So there was some light rain today, but that works out well for the players.
Yeah, well, for the attacking players, definitely. I think for the defensive players,
yeah, maybe a little bit tougher.
We'd rather be dry. Yeah, for an attacking player, you've got that advantage to try to change direction quickly. For a defender, it's a little bit of a nightmare because you're footing. You know, you're trying to react to the player on the ball. But I'd say probably in the next 10 minutes, it's going to dry up a little bit, Tommy. It's not going to be too much of a factor.
Koenig trying to regain it in the midfield, cannot. Victor Solto, the midfielder out of Brazil, was able to win it for Pittsburgh, and then the Riverhounds give it right back. Walker to Wiedemann, sent it into the middle. Boehner nearly got there. Riverhounds win it back with Okai. Stephen Okai, the midfielder out of Ghana.
Yeah, Okai's a good player. We talked about Soto as well. Those two are really in that system of the 4-4-2. They're the kind of generals.
How about the improvement by Pittsburgh in 2006, from 2016 to 2017? Koenig gets the pass from McLaughlin. Then Koenig taken down in the box. No call, much to the chagrin of the fans here in the Queen City. Koenig trying to get up to his feet. We'll take a look at it when we get an opportunity. Looked like a clean tackle there at the corner of the 18.
I think it was a perfect time tackle, honestly.
Wiedemann and Solto collide. Now McLaughlin back to Bone. Hoyt in the midfield over to DeVitt. It's a great ball forward.
Yeah.
And looked like it was very well defended by Pittsburgh.
A lot of space. You know, Jimmy kind of took on. He probably had another 5 yards there, but he played Donnie in early, and it was a good tackle.
Romeo Parks charging into the 18, and Mitch Hildebrand had to come off his line to corral it. A great run by Parks up the left, and maybe should have let it fly a little bit earlier. Here's another ball for Koenig, trying to win it in the 18. Perella will come over and corral it, and a nice job there by Jamal Jack to hold off FC Cincinnati striker.
You're going to see this all night long, Tommy, the battle between Koenig and Jamal. Both probably evenly sized. I think Jamal maybe has an inch or two on him.
Boehner has the ball come off his chest, it looked like, but may have caught part of his arm. That was the call from Joseph Dickerson.
You're talking about the improvement in the squad, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think probably the next step for Pittsburgh is trying to get the squad deeper, not just the starting 11. I wouldn't say 11, but maybe 14.
Pittsburgh let their coach go during the 2016. Dave Brandt took over on an interim basis and then was promoted to the full-time head coach. Pittsburgh the entire season last year, just 25 points. Right now they have 33 points with a month and a half left in the season. Kenny Walker's going to be called for a foul, taking down Solto. And FC Cincinnati's captain will immediately go have a conversation with the match official.
You know, it's one of those
50-50.
things. Yeah, it's 50-50 in my opinion. I think, honestly, Kenny Walker does well to use his body position. The referee might have a different angle. Might have looked like he pushed off from him, but could have been a little bit of a makeup call there.
Yeah, Solto. He got the call moments ago, and now just a little bit of contact on Danny Koenig, and the whistle will favor the home side. Ball headed down by Okai. Now 1 to Walker.
Well played.
Left for Bone. Corbin Bone tried to let it fly from 40 yards away. It was deflected. Sem DeVitt sprinting up the middle.
A lot of numbers on this right-hand side. Tommy on in the box.
McLaughlin on the service, looking far post. DeVitt was trying to get there. Perello went down. He had an injury in the match and stayed on after suffering a neck injury. He was listed as probable in the notes. This time it looked like he got hit on the chest as he collided with his own guy. See if he's okay. See if FC Cincinnati can challenge him as he tries to catch his breath. Josu's cross is deflected away. Corner kick coming for FC Cincinnati. Let's go back to that last play and look at the collision.
Puts his ball up, and this is what I'm talking about, even testing the goalkeeper out, right? And like you talked about, Tommy, last game, I think Perella against Bethlehem Steel
came down on his neck.
Pretty hard on his neck. You know, it's one of those gamesmanship things. As a team, you've got to test out a player in a position that has been a challenge for Pittsburgh and see if he can make something happen.
Halfway through the first half, this corner kick brought to you by the Levy Law Offices. Kenny Walker will take it onto the foot of Koenig in the box. There was a handball. It wasn't called. Danny Koenig can't believe the match official isn't pointing to the spot. Now, to be fair, he was pretty far away. I don't think he saw it.
Well,
but that's a bad call to miss. Let's take a look at it.
I think that the biggest thing, Tommy, I think, is the assistant coach or the assistant lineman over here
had to have seen that.
I think probably had a perfect vantage point.
We'll get a chance at the next stoppage to take a look at it. But it sure looked like right there on the end line, There was a handball in Pittsburgh. And now Jimmy McLaughlin for a little touch foul.
It's an obvious
foul. Going to be called. Was it a handball? This should give us a
good service in. Takes a touch. That's a handball, yeah.
That's a handball. Yep. Came off his upper arm. So, no call. If they had video-assisted referee for this match, which they've only had it for one match here at Nippert Stadium, and they do not have it tonight, that is the type of call where VAR can come into play. The play would be stopped, and a penalty would be awarded to FC Cincinnati, assuming the video-assisted referee upstairs were to see it.
I would have, honestly, you know, it's hard. It's easy for us, Tommy, obviously, to sit up here in the booth, but I think the assistant referee probably had a good vantage point on that.
One would think. Corbin Bone pokes it out into the midfield as it remains 1-0. After the missed handball inside of the 6-yard box. Kenny Walker back to Mitch Hildebrand, who's going to send it out in the midfield. For FC Cincinnati, though, the good news is some of these offensive opportunities starting to fall their way.
Yeah, starting to see a lot more of that direct play that we talked about. You know, their build-up is kind of in from the defensive third, connect a little bit with Kenny Walker or Corbin Bone, but now it's like, all right, we're finding space in behind. Release Danny Koenig or Jimmy McLaughlin, and so far it's been successful.
Jamal Jack's shot goes wide of Mitch Hildebrand. Goal kick for the native of Michigan. Jamal Jack at 6'3", great size there. He's making his 24th start on the season.
Solid player too, Tommy.
Boehner touches it towards Wiedemann. Didn't get there, broken up by Jack, and Wiedemann take a chance to catch his breath. Boehner will throw it into DeVitt. Third-minute goal. The difference right now was Pittsburgh came out of the dressing room and struck early. Last year, these two clubs met 3 times. Just once before this matchup this year. Vitt was trying to get it to Wiedemann. It slid right past him as he was held off by Toby Adewale. Taylor Washington, defender out of New York City, will throw it in. Washington leads the club with 6 yellow cards.
Yeah. One
of those 6 was picked up against FC Cincinnati in the April 1st matchup.
It'd be fair to describe them as a physical team. I think they're very athletic, actually, Tommy. In each line, you know, the back line's athletic, I think, in midfield and even up top.
Into the box. Danny Koenig was trying to win the header, had 2 yellow jerseys on him. There was a little bit of contact there, nothing egregious. And a goal kick coming for Perella after Koenig couldn't connect.
A good early ball by Josu. And you know what, Tommy? I mean, I've been impressed with his delivery from his set pieces and just in-play stuff. It's been on the money with a lot of his service. It's just trying to get more numbers into the box and get in behind that last Pittsburgh player if they can.
Corey Herzog, who scored his 11th of the year, was acting like he was going to throw it in, and now he'll leave it for Washington. Bone wins it back for FC Cincinnati. Koenig working up the right. Taken down by Adewale.
Yeah. I think what Danny Koenig really needs is just Andrew Wiedemann maybe a little bit higher. He's starting to get into a lot of these 1v1 battles. He's not really got a support player that he can lay off to.
Josu going to be moved back about 3 or 4 yards. He'll try to swing it inside the 18, try to look for one of his big targets. DeVitt, Delbridge both pushing up. Of course, Koenig there as well.
He's got to commit to this really, Tommy, because he's been putting it on a platter so far.
Josu is in the direction of DeVitt, didn't fall to him. McLaughlin towards the end line, turned away. Now Bone back to Delbridge, who retreated after the free kick.
Good patience so far. The other two, you know, we talked about the centre backs being kind of so tall and athletic with Pittsburgh. It's those things you've got to wait for the right moments to deliver, because you know, if there's a height disadvantage, you're playing a ball into the box and really no chance of winning it.
You know, I talked about it early. Pittsburgh this year very strong on the road. 4 of their 8 wins this year have come away from Highmark Stadium. They're 4-3-6, so they're actually a little bit better on the road than they've been at home this year, where they're 4-5-3. Wiedemann saw Boehner cutting inside, nearly got it to him, and then Boehner's going to be called for a foul, trying to keep it alive as he got tied up with Solto. I think Boehner's going to be booked, but he is going to have a conversation with Joseph Dickerson after the foul. Two-thirds of the way through the first half here at Nippert Stadium. It poured here yesterday. You heard Lindsay talk about it right off the top of the broadcast. Delayed the conversion of the field from American football, which was played here Thursday night as the Cincinnati Bearcats opened the Luke Fickell era. But kudos to the University of Cincinnati's operations team and the entire FC Cincinnati operations staff. I know there was a couple long nights, a couple long days. I heard one of the crews worked a 22-hour shift to get everything ready. But the pitch looks great.
Looks fantastic.
They said the seams where the end zones come in and out for American football in great shape. So that's always a concern when they take those out, and they did a great job. Wiedemann to McLaughlin, touched it way too heavy. Trying to find Koenig just inside the 18. Perella able to come over and collect.
The key in this, we talked about the Pittsburgh back four have been solid so far. I think Boehner and Jose, I think they've got to get into that attack as well to support. I talked about Danny Koenig needing support from Wiedemann and from Jimmy McLaughlin, but right now it's 3 against 4. They've got to get those 2 extra players up and try to create a number advantage.
Hoyt off his chest. Sends it out wide for Josu. Tried to come into the middle, and Pittsburgh won it back. Romeo Parks. Walsh will let it fly from 25 yards out, and it ends up right in the chest of Mitch Hildebrand. Chance of Mitch says no. Rain down from the Bailey after the save by Mitch Hildebrand. He's had a couple of the easy ones, but of course Corey Herzog slipped one by him. A nice left-footed finish, yeah.
Very good finish. You're right, Tom. He started the game, I thought, very solidly with a couple of good saves, I think, in his book. But that finish by Herzog was very special.
McLaughlin looking to make something happen. 4 goals on the season for the Pennsylvania native, who's really turned it on the last month and a half. FC Cincinnati showing patience, trying to work the build-up and find an equalizer. Tonight's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by your Tri-State Chevy dealers.
A little bit better here, pressure.
Wiedemann able to break through on the ball, keeps it alive in the box. What can he do with it? Wiedemann trying to center it, knocked away. Jamal Jack twisting in the air. He's lucky he didn't catch a handball there, just how awkwardly it hit him.
Did well actually to clear with his head, Tommy.
Wiedemann suddenly found himself with the ball along the touchline and unable to find a teammate to finish it off.
That's tough. You're on that line, like you talked about. You're waiting kind of for a teammate to react and change the angle for you to give you a different option, and it really didn't happen.
Boehner was working his way in, and
good strength here.
Well to
looks up. You know, again, it's a tight angle. You look at the goalkeeper too. He's way out of the frame of his goal.
And absolutely, Jamal Jack makes a spectacular play there. You can see Matt Boehner in frame.
The best option probably is to pull it back there early, Tommy.
Long ball for Herzog. Hildebrand way off his line, takes down Herzog, and Mitch Hildebrandt's going to get a yellow card. We have our first booking of the afternoon. As Hildebrand came way out and took down Herzog, and now Herzog trying a quick restart. He chipped it over Mitch, but the official had not signaled ready for play.
Yeah. You know, the foul itself, I mean, Tommy, I've seen red cards given for that.
Yeah.
You know, Herzog again gets up and chips the keeper, but you know, a yellow card, you've got to wait for the whistle. You can't play quickly.
You have time to write it down in the book.
Exactly.
So
Right.
well,
It has to be on the whistle, but like normal plays, if it's not a yellow card, you can restart quickly without the referee having to blow his whistle.
So a bit of a break in two ways there for FC Cincinnati. Mitch Hildebrandt doesn't earn a red card, and Herzog got able to get that quick restart going. And Chip Hildebrandt, as he was retreating, stays at 1-0, but a dangerous situation here. Ball sent far post. Boehner unable to get to it. Now Delbridge heads it outside of the 18. Nicely served ball to the far post. Kept alive by Washington. They'll bring it forward. And then Romeo Parks, just outside the 18, sails it up into the Bailey.
It's a few cheers from the guys in the Bailey. Parks, another dangerous player. We've talked about Walsh and talked about Herzog, but very powerful player on the left. You'll see him and probably Kerr a lot tonight. Kind of, I talked about them coming inside to support the central two, but you'll even see during the game they'll probably switch. They go from left to right, right to left.
That Herzog goal, that's the difference in the match thus far. His 4th in the last 3 games. Wiedemann gets the long ball down the left side. Looking for help, it comes in the form of Bone.
These are the positions, right? You know, not looking in the box, really. They don't have a lot of players in the box.
Ball deflected off of Koenig as Pittsburgh was trying to clear it. Went out along the end line, so Perello will get the goal kick.
And going back to the point that I made earlier, you're playing a ball into a back four that are decent size. They've so far really dealt with it.
Yeah.
I think FC's just got to change their attack a little bit. You know, a little bit less predictable. Maybe some combination plays in the top of the box. Try to drag that back four out, maybe then slip, and that's probably with those big players. They're not that quick to react and turn and drop back to goal.
DeVito headed away in the midfield. How prolific of a scorer is Herzog? Well, when he was at Penn State as a junior, he led NCAA Division I soccer in scoring with 20 goals. DeVit knocked down in the midfield, foul call.
I love the, you know, just his initiative too, Tommy. You know, he's one of those players. I've watched him a lot this season, but obviously the goals that he scores, but kind of cheeky in his play too.
Well, it was recognized as he was the 13th overall pick in the 2011 draft. Koenig trying to get to it in the box. Boehner was able to keep it alive for a moment, and then Boehner called for a foul as he was right at the top of the 18 trying to send it back to Koenig, and Boehner hit with the foul. Pittsburgh will be able to restart it. After being drafted by New York Red Bulls, well, Herzog went on to make 34 MLS appearances with 3 different teams in the top tier of American soccer. DeVit headed it down.
Obviously the change I talked about, Kerr and Parks for Pittsburgh kind of switching sides. Just right now, Jimmy and Andrew Wiedemann have kind of changed and see if they can flip it, maybe create a little bit of different space or a different matchup. You know, maybe Jimmy McLaughlin against Washington, maybe better suited for him.
Wiedemann's going to be called for the foul. It was a very late signal from the match official. Both players got tied up. I think everybody was kind of waiting, and you can hear the boos. 22,000 or so not happy with the decision.
A little smile by Wiedemann too. I don't think he was totally sold on the call.
A great crowd here, waiting for a big moment here in the first half to cheer about. White pokes it away from Walsh. Siobhan Walsh, the native of Jamaica. Big target at 6'2".
I think all in all, I think you know, Allen's going to be pretty disappointed with the work rate, Tommy. I think one thing he's got to kind of look at it and think about at halftime too is, you know, the plan to kind of be a little bit direct and try to get in behind. Is it working? And maybe change it. In my opinion, I think they've got to draw Pittsburgh out a little bit. I think they've got to build up into the middle third, draw the players out, and create that space then to combine and play in behind the back four. But I'm sure he's going to let the players know the first thing you've got to correct is that work rate. You can control that.
Great ball forward down the left side for Wiedemann. Wiedemann move over to the left the last few times down the pitch, and McLaughlin over on the right. You normally start in the opposite of that formation.
Yeah. For me as well, is trying to get this guy on the ball as much as possible.
Well, Walker starts the play. Koenig tried to back heel it, then Wiedemann with a shot, and Andrew Wiedemann brings 20,000 plus to their feet.
It's the first time, really, Tommy, they've been able to get a ball in front of their back four, like I talked about. All starts with Kenny Walker again getting on the ball.
Second of the year for the California native, who ties the match at 1 apiece.
This ball being played in, nice little touch, a little bit lucky how he gets the ball, but again, in that position, just in front of the center back. Similar to Herzog, really, where he wraps his body around it. Might have got a deflection, Tommy, I don't know. But what a finish. Great anticipation again from Andrew Wiedemann.
Said the fans needed a moment. That didn't take very long. 1-1 into the 41st. Pittsburgh trying to answer right back. Siobhan Walsh on a ball that'll knuckle towards the corner. After being deflected, Pittsburgh will get their first corner kick of the afternoon.
I think really, again, that's probably the first time FC Cincinnati have had the ball on top of the 18 in front of the back four and created that little bit of space, that little moment that we talked about to test the goalkeeper. Great finish.
Went to the near post. Perella couldn't get a piece of it. And now Romeo Parks will take the corner from the near side. Mitch reads it perfectly, and Hildebrandt pulls it down.
Safe hands by Hildebrandt. Slow down a little bit again. My opinion, as I said, I don't think this direct play and trying to go over the top is working at the minute. Maybe just slow down your build-up, bring some more players into the attack, try to draw them out. This is where Danny Koenig needs support.
Koenig has McLaughlin trailing. Jimmy trying to find Wiedemann in the middle. It bounces up into the hands of Perella and nearly collided with his own guy, Taylor Washington. Perella probably saying, hey, everybody stay away from the goalkeeper. Don't you guys know what's going on this year? Kiesel Broom is out for the season. Trey Mitchell, who has started 17 games in goal, is out for the season.
Okay, that's why he's wearing the bright pink top, right?
You know, stay away, no contact with the goalkeeper. And he took a knock, as I said, in the match against Bethlehem Steel when he fell down on his head and injured his neck.
It looked like a bad knock, too.
Yeah, he was down for a few minutes and was listed as probable in the injury report for this match. Alex Kapp probably saying, hey, thanks for bringing me on. Where
certainly the atmosphere's changed in the stadium, Tommy.
It felt very flat.
It did.
Before that goal.
I talked about the work rate part, right? I mean, it's one of those things that brings energy.
Yep.
The last game against Ottawa, it was there from the first whistle to the final whistle.
Here comes Koenig trying to get to it first. Did not. Played back to Perella. And his ball out into the midfield. Won by Josu. McLaughlin gives it right back to the Spaniard. Josu's going to earn a corner kick. Deflecting it off the defender.
Seems like a lot more space is starting to open up in this Pittsburgh defense as well.
Walker will take it from the far side to the right of Perella. Can FC Cincinnati strike twice in 30 minutes and gain some great momentum going into the changing room?
Just looking at the setup again.
Look at those bodies right now inside the 18.
I think you've got to play short. I think you've got to try to draw some of the players out. So far, the crosses with those big players in the box really hasn't been that successful.
Walker looking for one of the targets. He found the foot of Koenig, but he wasn't able to redirect it in the right direction and went out wide. No trouble for Perella. But you're probably right, and I'd imagine that's the type of thing.
I almost had my words there, but that's no. Really, you've got to try to draw out and create space, right? Anytime that it's that tight and that compact, and you've got height advantage, it's going to be very, very hard.
Now, FC Cincinnati hasn't found the set-piece goal yet, but how good have those services been, both from Kenny Walker and Josu on the corners we've seen?
Spot on, fantastic.
Misplay by Pittsburgh at midfield. Boehner will throw it in quickly. See from here, Alan Koch making some notes, and I know that between him and Johan Dumais, they will make some changes at halftime. That may be one of the things that they weren't planning for Pittsburgh to pack the 18-yard area in that way, but certainly can adjust at halftime.
I think, you know, the FC players are smart enough too to recognize that.
Siobhan Walsh caught offside as the flag went up just as he entered the attacking third.
And the only thing that I'm thinking about on that, Tom, is, okay, we talked about the goalkeepers. Put it on the goalkeeper's head there. You know, really test them out. It's the only way, really, you're trying to whip those balls in.
Throw in for the home side as we approach stoppage time. We've been told there will be 1 minute of stoppage time, a goal on each side, and a yellow card on Mitch Hildebrandt. Vitt will slide it out wide for Delbridge. Walker back to Bone.
Much better.
Josu, Wiedemann, and Koenig hesitated on his run. I think maybe he thought he was offside. Flag wasn't up, and just that little hesitation meant he didn't get to it, and it rolled down to Perella.
Probably the best phase of play, honestly, Tommy, from a possession standpoint, a creative standpoint, this half. Good combination play, good support, almost released Danny Koenig to get in behind.
Wiedemann battling, trying to keep it alive. Walker unable to backheel it. Pittsburgh will quickly throw it in, trying to find one more chance before heading to the half. Walker looking for Koenig, and Perella comes all the way out to the corner of the 18 to corral it. Joseph Dickerson looks at his wrist and blows the whistle. 45 minutes of soccer in the books here at Nippert Stadium. 45 more to come your way, and FC Cincinnati with a goal from Andrew Wiedemann finds an equalizer to make it 1-1. All of our sideline reports are brought to you by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. Let's head downstairs to Lindsey Patterson, who's with Alan Koch.
Coach, you get something going late to gain momentum, even out the score. What do you tell your guys in the dressing room?
Well, we said we knew today we'd have to put in a 90-minute performance. Pittsburgh's a good team, and they're going to work very, very hard for the full game. And you can see they put in a very, very good shift for the full 45 minutes. I think we started very, very slow, but we had the character to keep persevering. We didn't really change that much. We just stuck to the course and obviously got rewarded. A little bit of a lucky bounce at the end, but a great finish from Andrews. So we've got to make sure we come out of the gates right at the start and then ride that way for the full 45 minutes.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lindsey, and we appreciate the time from Alan Koch giving us his thoughts on the first half. We'll step aside and take a break. When we return, we'll chat with number 3, Tyler Pollock. Pittsburgh struck first, their first ever goal against FC Cincinnati, and then Andrew Wiedemann, the equalizer to make it 1-1. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. For the last 2 years, number 3, Tyler Pollock, has provided consistency for FC Cincinnati at the fullback position. In the locker room, he's gotten a reputation as a funny guy. Today we find out what makes Typo tick.
For the last 2 years, number 3 Tyler Polak has provided consistency for FC Cincinnati at the fullback position. In the locker room, he's gotten a reputation as a funny guy. Today we find out what makes Typo tick.
I'd rather, let my play talk, and rather than getting in individual scuffles on the field, I'd rather just let them see my play talk. I mean, we obviously went through a transition period where the outside backs are kind of supposed to get more into the attack than usual, and I think for me, I like the space, and it kind of lets me be a little more creative in the offensive third.
Polak serves it across with his left foot, bouncing in the middle. Sem DeVitt finds a piece. It's 3-0.
Yeah, it's awesome having better players in the squad to help you get ready for the game, especially with the ever-growing USL. Every team's getting better every year, so we need to get better in every practice. My sense of humor is kind of just laying back, let people talk, and then when someone says something and I think it's something funny to say, it's just kind of a one-liner, and it's kind of a pretty bad joke, but people think it's funny and they have to laugh. You can't see my armpits, can you? Okay, good. She's been a key point. I mean, she's always supporting me on and off the field. She doesn't like to get into soccer too much, but every once in a while she'll remind me to keep my head up when things aren't going well, and it kind of helps me to stay on the right track.
Tonight we have broken the modern era U.S. Open Cup non-final attendance mark of 20.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you look around and you don't see MLS teams. I mean, very few MLS teams having the numbers we have, and it's awesome. They help us get through every game, every minute. Yeah, the depth is huge on the team. I mean, we've obviously improved from last year. We had a great team, but we've, got more guys, more depth, and it helps with keeping guys fresh for next game and, for later in the season when we're doing playoffs, if we're lucky enough to get there.
Tyler Polak out today, but his teammates battling Pittsburgh. And when we return, we'll take a look around the USL and still to come highlights and stats from the first 45 minutes. That's all coming up. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Week 23 of the 2017 USL regular season was one for the record books. 5 midweek matchups took center stage as the league's total attendance record was shattered. Wednesday night saw the USL surpass the 1.5 million mark in total attendance, pushing past 2016's total attendance in just 6.5 weeks after the league passed the 1 million mark. FC Cincinnati continues to lead the league in average attendance with more than 20,000 fans per game, with Sacramento Republic FC not far behind. But notably this season, the league has more than doubled its number of teams averaging more than 5,000 fans per game, with 9 clubs above that mark.
Those 9 teams, which include newcomers Reno 1868 FC, Ottawa Fury FC, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, sit in the top 11 in average attendance nationally outside Major League Soccer. With the season pushing on, the 2 million attendance mark is on the horizon. As the race for the 2017 USL Cup playoffs heats up, the league's fans are not cooling down. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.
A Skyline t-shirt and a 50.
The return to the pitch here at Nippert Stadium with FC Cincinnati and Pittsburgh tied up at 1 here at the half. Tom Glitter back alongside All-American Kevin McCloskey. Happy Labor Day weekend to you. And for FC Cincinnati, Alan Koch said maybe not the energy he wanted right away, but they certainly built the momentum as the half went and were able to find that equalizer.
Yeah, I think the last 20 minutes, I think they changed it. They improved, that energy. I think the ideas in attack as well. And what a finish by Andrew Wiedemann.
Well, FC Cincinnati fans are halfway to free pizzas. We take a look at the highlights because they are delivered by PapaJohns.com, where FC scores twice. You get half-price pizzas online. Code FCPizza50. When Corey Herzog, he came out and found the back of the net in the 3rd minute.
Sweet strike with his left foot into the side. I don't think Mitch couldn't have done much about it. Really probably saw it late as well, but obviously got Pittsburgh off to that start.
Pittsburgh leading 1-0. Here's the play that looked like it was a handball there inside of the 6-yard box.
Yeah, a controversial decision. I think everybody in Nippert felt it was a handball, apart from the referee. But, you know, one of those things that it didn't go their way, and, you know, continue to try to get back into the game.
Well, Kenny Walker helped get FC Cincinnati back into the game. Some great balls all day. This one misplayed by Pittsburgh. Boy, did Andrew Wiedemann take advantage.
I think, you know, obviously a lucky bounce, but what a finish by Andrew Wiedemann. Ball just came in front. I think he turned his hips really well into it and got a good strike past the goalkeeper.
Second of the year for Wiedemann, and then Danny Koenig knew on that service he had a great chance to make it 2-1 before heading to the dressing room, but it was not to be. Let's head down to the sideline and check in with Lindsay Patterson.
Yeah, guys, I just left the dressing room about a minute ago, and Alan Koch had a lot to tell his guys. He says you're allowing space out there, and Josu, when you get back, Matt Boehner, you need to stay. When Matt Boehner stays, Josu, you have to get back. It's a similar look to when they played the New York Red Bulls 2 on the road. Take care of the ball and match the physicality. It's all about the little details out there, and he told the guys more than once, get back, get back. The upcoming schedule is brought to you by Audi Cincinnati East, bringing you the ultimate Audi experience on Beachmont Avenue. Harrisburg City, Tuesday, September 12th. Regular season home finale here at Nippert on the 16th against Red Bulls 2, September 23rd at St. Louis.
Thank you, Lindsay. Obviously, as you look at that schedule, a lot of acts before the games for FC Cincinnati. A special moment here on the turf before we get set for the second half. What's going on there? The Skyline fan of the game, is that all? Oh no, you're not just a Skyline fan of the game, you're now a fiance. Congratulations to the happy couple. A proposal on the field just moments ago, and I was actually here at 10:30 this morning, Kevin. That's the second proposal at Nippert Stadium today.
Tommy, it's in the air, man.
Love is in the air this weekend here in the Queen City. That's the happy couple. They got engaged at halftime. Actually, one of my old interns, Morgan Williams, I come to find out later, she got proposed to at 10:30 this morning. Saw it down there as I was up here preparing for the match. So 2 proposals. Who knows what else is going to happen here this afternoon. FC Cincinnati hopes they can find the back of the net a few more times as they get set for 45 minutes. Looks like a little bit of the rain may have returned during the halftime session. Of course, the remnants of Hurricane Harvey, and everybody down in Houston in our thoughts this week as they've been dealing with that situation. Some great things going on with FC Cincinnati supporters today at the various bars around town, collecting donations and cases of water to ship down to Houston. And the Red Cross was here at the gates collecting cash donations as fans came in. So great support from the Cincinnati community for everybody down in Houston. The clubs will switch ends of the pitch. Of course, this is an orange out, so the home lads in their orange tops today with orange socks and blue shorts, and visiting Pittsburgh in a color that's very familiar to the city with yellow tops and black shorts.
Interesting to see what Alan's talked about at halftime, Tommy, and you know, if any changes could be just delivery of a reminder more than anything else. But
is there something that you think needs to change based on some of the momentum they picked up at the end of the half?
I think you've got to keep it at that level, right? I think it's one of those things that I talked about. You've got to change up your attack a little bit. You know, you got to stop being predictable and kind of playing into Pittsburgh's strengths. I think you've really got to start controlling the ball and be patient in the attacking third, which I think they did. And it goes back again what I talked about, the work rate and the attitude. Be interesting though to see if he's changed the formation too. Right now it's Pittsburgh are playing in a 4-4-2. And obviously FC Cincinnati are playing in a 3-4-3.
Danny Koenig got loose a few times, and knowing his work rate, you have to feel he's going to get a couple more looks here in the second half, trying to push the orange and blue on top. Herzog was trying to center it, turned away by Walker, now onto the foot of Josu.
These are the areas here that Koenig just needs a little bit earlier support, I think, and then you're breaking that next line. You're finding Wiedemann or maybe Jimmy McLaughlin.
Owen was trying to get it into the middle. Pittsburgh able to win it back onto the near side to Kevin Kerr. His touch was a bit heavy, and then Kerr has to come off his foot. FC Cincinnati with the throw in.
Interesting. Kerr's been kind of quiet for Pittsburgh, really. He's a guy that's leading, I think, with assists. He's a very creative player.
Leads the club in matches played, matches started, minutes. We're talking about all the minutes Harrison's played, and Kerr feels those pains. 2,183 minutes this year for the native of England. 5 assists to lead the club.
Yeah. He's a guy, too, that really brings Herzog and Walsh into the game. You know, he's a very creative, very dynamic player. He's been quiet, really, for the most part tonight.
Kerr has started all 5 matches in the last 2 years against Cincinnati. There is Kerr trying to get it into the middle. DeVitt had other plans. Deflects off the match official. Back to Kerr, and Pittsburgh trying to keep it alive.
Oh, a little nutmeg.
To McLaughlin. Got it from Kenny Walker, who's been very good today.
Yeah, really, since I talked about him and Corbin getting into the game.
They listened, right?
He must be listening, yeah, because he's really, and again, he's such an important player for FC Cincinnati. I think once you've got that heartbeat in the middle of the midfield, it's really makes the team tick.
Herzog was trying to get it into the middle. Justin Hoyt had other plans. Now back to the goalkeeper, Mitch Hildebrand. Aside from the defensive breakdown, when Herzog tallied his 11th goal of the year, FC Cincinnati defensively has been pretty solid. Today's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by the Montgomery Inn. Josu will head it into the middle to McLaughlin. Pulled down on the foot of Solto. Pittsburgh the other way, and Hildebrand able to come over to the corner of the 18 and pick it up.
One thing, just watching Josu as well, I think Matt Boehner got a ton of speed on that right-hand side. He can get past that line and really provide support. And Josu, really, you just see the starting position. He's kind of hold back. Wonder if that's maybe a little bit timid from his injury that he's picked up in the past. He's obviously not that explosive player, but I think really if he can get into that next line and support Jimmy McLaughlin on this left side, that's going to free up a lot more options.
Walker trying to come over to the left, Josu, and he finds it. Josu, right on cue, holds on to it, maybe a little bit too long. Wiedemann was making a run up the left side, and FC Cincinnati turns it over. And Kenny Walker's going to go into the books with a yellow card as he took down big Jamal Jack. Second yellow of the day for FC Cincinnati.
It's an interesting one, Tommy. It looks like there might have been 2 pieces of contact here from Kenny Walker. Kenny's obviously claiming that he won the ball, which he certainly did eventually.
Right. No, there were 2 pieces of contact. I don't know which one he got the yellow card for. Maybe the knee on the second contact. Won the ball and then put his knee into Jack.
I think that was similar, very similar to the Pittsburgh tackle, if you remember, in the opening 5 minutes on Donnie Cooney. I think he wins the ball on that.
Jack appears to be okay. And we'll wait to put it back into play in the midfield. 51st minute. Jack forward towards the box. It falls off to Parks. Now Herzog. Herzog was looking for Walsh. Didn't get there. Hoyt out into the midfield. Parks, far post. Herzog got a head on it and tried to flip it over to the right of Mitch Hildebrand. Just a bit too strong.
It might have been Kerr there, Tommy, coming in. But another great player, I think, for Pittsburgh. Just got to be careful on those floated balls too. You know, I think Harrison maybe gets caught just ball watching a little bit. Just got to keep body position.
Tom Glader, Kevin McCloskey, Lindsey Patterson, or producer David Ashbrook, all happy to be with you here on this.
It's got to hurt.
A little bit gloomy of a Saturday afternoon. Foul called in the midfield, and Matt Boehner will be slow to his feet. Cincinnati native looking to collect himself after the foul. All of our sideline reports are brought to you by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. Let's head downstairs and check in with Lindsay.
Guys, we had a special guest today, Walter Superbuzz Herbert. He's making his rounds and living out as many dreams as possible because he's currently battling terminal cancer. In the last week, he has become best friends with first baseman Joey Votto, running touchdowns in for Colerain. And today, he was the honorary captain before the match.
I was going to say, that's not a bad week for Superbubs. I know he got the jersey and the bat. Yeah. From Joey right after he hit the home run. The bat was tossed over, and Joey was so emotional about it afterwards that he didn't even want to talk to the media about it. Gave him a jersey as well, and he got to walk out with Kenny Walker today and was out there with the Colerain Cardinals yesterday.
So brave.
Somebody's down on the far side. Is that Koenig? No, Koenig's up. Boehner go back down. After picking up that knock moments ago, he may have. Trying to find everybody else. Yeah, it is Matt Boehner as Aaron Powell is waved out onto the pitch. Maybe cramped up a little bit there in his back.
I think, well, from the line, really, I mean, he probably jumps about 5 foot, 6 foot in the air and comes down the line straight on his back. At the start, when he was slow to get up, I thought he was just maybe winded, but looks like he might have strained the lower back area.
Kevin Schindler is warming up in interest now. Over on FC Cincinnati's bench to our left. Certainly has picked up the pace. He would be the likely substitution, but doesn't necessarily have to be the sub. Justin Hoyt could move out to that right fullback, and Austin Berry could come on. Schindler is the guy with the most movement right now, as Boehner getting extended attention there on his lower back. It's interesting, the club has a chiropractor, Keith Riplow, who comes through before the matches. He's in there before the team meeting and after the team meeting to give everybody adjustments. And I know not everybody, but about 95% of the guys on the roster take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't have that back when you played, did they? You and Nico didn't have a chiropractor before the matches out of Rio?
I just thought people would stretch this.
See Harrison Delbridge over there showing some support. Big day for the Delbridge family here in the Queen City. So Harrison playing right now. His brother Quinn is in town. Quinn Lewis, as he goes by in the music world, is a professional musician. Here's a look.
This is just where he goes up in such an awkward land, you know.
I mean, he fell right on that lower back.
Yeah. I can tell you falling on that turf too. It might look soft, but underneath it's pretty sore.
Well, he's going to try and continue. He's out on the far side right now with Aaron Powell, and we'll have to await the signal from the match official to come back in. Keep an eye as FC Cincinnati, for the moment, will play down a man. Kenny Walker and Josu standing over the ball just across midfield, as we will regain play in the 55th minute. Walker gave it to Delbridge, tried to center it. Pittsburgh had everybody back and defended it well, and now we'll clear it out into the midfield. Again, the Riverhounds dropping everybody to not give the orange and blue a clear look.
Good ball by Kenny Walker. Honestly, I thought it was offside, Tommy, when he first played it in. What's the quick counter attack here by Pittsburgh?
Perella got it out way across midfield, and Josu intercepted the pass. Wiedemann, who has the goal for FC Cincinnati, will push it into the near side corner. McLaughlin on to Walker. Walker with his right foot tried to go near post, and it went just wide. And just to finish my thought on the, let's take a look at the replay first.
They couldn't get enough, obviously, accuracy on it. Surprised he really didn't try to drive it, instead abandoned it from that position.
Walker leads the club with 4 assists. Still looking for his first goal of the season. I was talking about Harrison Delbridge and his brother Quinn, who goes by Quinn Lewis musically. Quinn Lewis is here today to watch his brother, and then Harrison tonight is going to head downtown to watch his brother perform on tour here in Cincinnati. How about that day for the Delbridge family? Harrison right now trying to win the ball off the foot of Romeo Parks. Parks keeps control into the final third. 57th minute, 1-1 here at Nippert. Duffy into the middle. Out to Okai. And here's Kerr working in the midfield. Pressure coming from Josu. Kerr turns on it. Herzog had the right idea.
Yeah.
Run the quick flick on to Romeo Parks, and Parks didn't make the run. FC Cincinnati able to shut it down.
Kerr starting to come more and more into the game, I think, for Pittsburgh. Really being that catalyst in attack. Trying to drag defenders in and kind of slice Define into the targets.
Matt Boehner's gone back down, and
yeah,
I would imagine that his day is coming to a close here. And Austin Berry has put his jersey on and come underneath the shelter, so I think that we may see Austin Berry come on to play center back, and Justin Hoyt then would go out to right back, where we've seen him make a few starts this year. And you can see right there, Justin's going to come over to Allen, and I would expect that that will be the change when the substitution is announced. And Matt Boehner, the Cincinnati native, definitely frustrated to come out right now, but clearly on that collision after he went up in the air.
Oh, he hit hard, Tommy, for sure. And he's normally a tough guy too, so you know it's got to be something serious. He just feeds it tight all the way down his back.
So the substitution confirmed now by the folks on the field. Austin Berry coming on, Matt Boehner off in the 59th minute. Certainly a very capable substitution. We talked about it early on. And being able to bring in guys like GB, like Austin Berry, who are regular starters, is a huge advantage for Alan Koch. And let's see, Sem DeVitt will go into the middle. Austin Berry will go to his natural position on the right side of the three center backs.
Yeah.
And Justin Hoyt will go out and play right fullback, where Boehner had been running. Boehner had some good looks tonight too, a couple good runs.
Yeah, definitely. Boehner's Mr. Consistent, really. He's one of those players that gives you the same type of performance every week. Just unfortunate tonight that he's coming out early.
Hoyt playing further forward, gets a touch right away. Now to Berry. Appreciate everybody joining us on Local 12 here in Cincinnati tonight. ESPN 1530 on the radio locally, and everybody watching back in Pittsburgh as well. Siobhan Walsh into the corner, sending it into the middle. Hildebrandt gets there first.
Good goalkeeping by Mitch. Call them off early, start the attack as well. Good management of his box.
DeVitt will send it on to the left, finds Josu. Turned it forward for McLaughlin.
He just played that a little bit too early. Jimmy just turned.
Duffy had to beat on it, but it bounces into the area. Wiedemann, second shot of the day, and it skips just over the goal. FC Cincinnati will find a corner kick as Perella got just a piece of it. But for the second time tonight, Wiedemann nearly scores on a ball that finds his foot right in the middle.
Oh, absolutely. How close was that, Tommy? Danik just cuts in. I think that maybe gets that last poke, but turning the deflection, and it just ricochets. Actually clips the top of the crossbar. I'm sure Perella is very relieved that went over and that went to the back of his net.
And the orange and blues strike on a set piece for the first time tonight. Kenny Walker into the box. Delbridge got it on his head, but wasn't able to redirect it enough towards the frame.
He did well to get up, didn't he, Tommy? Just
it was right there, yeah.
He couldn't direct that back on frame. Ton of power in it too. It bounced off the Bailey sign.
It got to him really fast.
Yeah.
Delbridge able to turn on it. 61st minute now. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, one apiece. GB's been called inside of the shelter. That might be the next chess move for Alan Koch.
I think in the second half so far, Tommy, I think it's been even. I think Pittsburgh have had a good amount of possession in FC's half. Just lately, obviously, FC Cincinnati been able to kind of, they created something out of nothing really on that deflection, if you remember, that went into Danny Koenig. But so far, 50-50.
DeVitt will slide it out wide. Hoyt is looking for Koenig. Sending about 5 yards to his right. Bounces right onto the chest of Matt Perella. Perella has a big leg. Gets it well across midfield and couldn't quite find Walsh. Today's broadcast of FC Cincinnati is brought to you in part by your local Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Volkswagen dealers. Hildebrand will direct traffic and then send it right to left.
Another battle between those two.
Walker over to Hoyt.
Not interesting too, you know, Justin Hoyt was playing central defense too, which is a position you're not moving that much. Now you go into wing back where really you've got to connect the defense with the attack. Interesting is just to see how he kind of fits into this, and really if he can get in a groove early.
McLaughlin has it come off his foot. Was trying to collect it about 25 yards out. Unable to do so. Pittsburgh quickly will race the other way. Kerr making the run, decided to slow it down. Into the middle, Okai. Turned it over to the left, and nobody was there. Throw in inside the defensive third coming for FC Cincinnati. And Hoyt's going to send it back to Hildebrand. Just as you were making that point, Hoyt got involved in the attack.
Yeah. There's two things really. It's like, you know, does Austin come in and get settled very quickly? Anytime that you change a center back, it's one of those things that you've got to come in. It's got to be seamless straight away. And then the flip side that I talked about is Justin Hoyt, where he's going to be probably more stationary in that central position. Now he's got to cover 30, 40, you know, yard sprints up and back.
GB now has his jersey top on and appears to be wrapping up his warm-up, so he will be the next substitute for Alan Koch. Are you expecting him to come on for Danny Koenig, or maybe Jimmy or Wida?
It depends. You know, it depends. You know, I can't read his mind. I think the biggest thing really is, you know, do you change the setup or the formation to get maybe two in attack as well? We've seen that before this season, Tommy. Danny Koenig and GB. You know, that's certainly a big threat, especially when you're playing against the back four, because then you're creating, you know, a number advantage. But you know, it's I think Danny Koenig's been active. I think Jimmy McLaughlin's been active. I think Wida's been active. It might be a case of just trying to change the line, really, and change that formation.
Come on, you can't read his mind. I was able to read it on the change in the center backs with Justin Hoyt going out wide to the right. I'm going to read his mind right now, too. He's coming in for Danny Koenig. So Koenig, who's worked here for the first 64-plus minutes, will come off. And Alan Koch in the 65th minute will use his second substitution, bring on GB. GB had the game winner against Pittsburgh in the first meeting this season back on April 1st. That came in the 55th minute. And the strikers will swap out here, hoping to give a spark to the orange and blue. How crucial is today's match in the points in the line? FC Cincinnati in 8th place. That's right now the final spot as far as playoffs are concerned. Pittsburgh 1 point behind in 9th. GB getting involved right away.
Well, it's interesting too. You know, the reason why I delayed a little bit on that answer, the 65th minute, is it working? I think so far it's been back and forth, you know. So you look at the system, all right, we're comfortable with not changing it. And you've always got this option of, hey, this guy's come in, he can score, he's very good in this role, playing as a single target player.
Bone with a little room to work across midfield.
The next 5-10 minutes will be very telling, Tommy.
Josu trying to get it to Bone, and it will be called out along the touchline, right by FC Cincinnati's bench. Josu will work his way up closer to the attacking third before throwing it in. Gives it back to the big Aussie. 3 points imperative for FC Cincinnati here today with the home opportunities waning just one more in the regular season after this one. GB trying to flick on to Wiedemann, didn't get there.
I think you've got to think about just with GB. I know he's been very prolific throughout the season, but he's not played in close to 3 weeks.
McLaughlin gets a deflection. McLaughlin into the box. Jimmy McLaughlin with a shot, and Perella makes the save.
Great run by Josu as well, just to bring that defender away. Creates that extra space for Jimmy McLaughlin.
McLaughlin finds it again, now up the left side. Sending it into the middle, onto the foot of GB, and he just missed it. Ball skipped by 2 defenders, and I honestly think the big man from Senegal was surprised to find it there.
That's exactly what happened, Tommy. He was surprised that got all the way across, missing 2 players. Just a slow reaction, really. It's one of those things, too, with the ball skipping as well. It's kind of harder to judge that flight.
$22,643 on hand here at Nippert Stadium. I can tell you there's already over 20,000 tickets out for the regular season finale here at Nippert 2 weeks from today. And FC Cincinnati will become the first USL club ever to average over 20,000 for a season. I would expect the single game USL regular season record to be broken probably even before we get to September 16th.
Good play here.
McLaughlin.
Oh, nice turn.
Just outside the 18. Gets it into the middle. Headed back in his direction. A great defensive play there by Pittsburgh to break it up. That ball was headed right for GB.
Certainly seems like there's a lot more space now for Jimmy and Wiedemann as well.
Delbridge gets it forward to GB. Pittsburgh breaks it up. The Meg through Kerr.
Pittsburgh substitution.
And then McLaughlin got it across the middle, but Adewale had other chances heading it away. Pittsburgh's going to use their first of 3 substitutions. So we will see Kay Banjo check on and Siobhan Walsh come out. And actually they're going to use 2 substitutions. Delay, Agbosimode. Will come on, and Richie Duffy checks off. Agbosimode has started 6 matches. This is the first time he's come off the bench this year. And Kate Banjo makes his 14th appearance of the year for the Riverhounds. He does have 2 goals. Agbosimode actually was sent off in the match against FC Cincinnati on April 1st when he picked up 2 yellow cards.
Defensive change there too, Tommy. Just interesting to see that. See if Pittsburgh react or kind of change. Let's say the last 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at least. FC have been playing in their half a little bit more. Talked about Wiedemann and McLaughlin starting to find pockets of space.
Now each manager has 1 substitute remaining. Walker turns into the middle and brilliantly finds Andrew Wiedemann. Wiedemann with his right foot tried to go upper 90 and saw it sail on him. That's a great look though, from about 28 yards away.
A great ball in first for Kenny Walker, but good effort. Just leaning back a little bit, but I like the intent on that, Tommy. I like that he's got the confidence to turn in. Said you're starting to see him and Jimmy really starting to float into these pockets of space underneath GB.
Corey Herzog had the goal for Pittsburgh in the 3rd minute. Wiedemann had the equalizer in the 40th. That is all the scoring we have seen thus far. Had 1 draw between these 2 clubs in the previous 4 meetings. FC Cincinnati won the other 3. Delbridge gets around Corey Herzog, who slipped.
A lot of space to play here. Oh,
tried to feed it over to Jimmy McLaughlin, and Solto did a great job getting back to it. GB comes over and takes it off his foot. He finds Andrew Wiedemann. Andrew Wiedemann is taken down in the box, and it'll be a corner kick, not a penalty.
What a tackle by Washington.
2nd time Taylor Washington has made a tackle in the box tonight.
Great play, just obviously from GB showing strength. Great through ball, and what a tackle. Talk about timing. You got to get those right, Tommy.
Corner kick coming, headed straight into the air. Delbridge trying to get on it. Kenny Walker can't find it. Hoyt providing the coverage in the midfield, sends it back forward.
Got to be careful they don't get countered here.
Barry keeping it alive, tried to poke it to McLaughlin wide and put way too much on it into the stands. What an opportunity there. Well defended by Taylor Washington.
Oh, it's a perfectly timed tackle, really, Tommy. But what a through ball by GB as well. Wiedemann's in the right place, makes a great run, takes a good first touch. Just before he pulls the trigger, Washington comes up with a massive play.
That's twice that Washington. He had one in the first half at the other end. Inside of the 18, makes a clean tackle. Sent forward, headed down by Barry. Throw in for Pittsburgh right at midfield. Now the 72nd minute, tied at 1 apiece. Obviously a draw would leave things as they are in the standings, with Pittsburgh trailing FC Cincinnati by a point.
I think for Allen, though, at home, Tommy, I think he's got to go for it.
Yeah.
You got to push it.
Bone will give it into the middle to GB. GB slipped as the ball got to his foot. Pittsburgh going to try and counter the other way. Herzog sending it over to Kerr. He'll leave it, and Romeo Park's shot sails into the horseshoe into the stadium. Hildebrand goal kick. Barry forward onto the chest of Wiedemann. GB in the midfield. Delbridge. Bone making the run up the left. Into the attacking third they come. Bone into the middle, right into the hands of Perella. Well, FC Cincinnati looking for a big moment, trying to bring 22,000 back to their feet. Perella, the new goalkeeper for the Riverhounds, out into the midfield.
Just got to keep the shape at the back here too, Tommy. Can't get too involved in the attack. They got to keep that preventative shape.
Delbridge trying to get it up to Josu. Throw in coming for Pittsburgh in the attacking third.
We've already seen Pittsburgh are a team too that can press and counter. Just got to manage those moments.
Curl leave it for Jamal Jack. Trying to fire it towards the 18 on the throw-in. He found Herzog. Herzog gets into the middle of Kai. Then Kerr has it taken off his foot on a nice defensive play by Josu.
Good defended by Josu.
Okai heads it down. Dangerous moment there for FC Cincinnati. Josu did well not to put too much of his body onto the defensive play.
These are the moments here, Tommy. Just got to get a little bit more pressure, I think, on the ball.
Delbridge clears it into the midfield. GB knocks it down. Jamal Jack will come over to collect for Pittsburgh. Hoyt turned it forward, and it came off the Pittsburgh defender funny. Didn't find GB. Harry will retreat. Send it on to his left, Delbridge.
Good turn by Jimmy again here.
McLaughlin's going to go out wide. Justin Hoyt had a lot of space. Washington closing in on him.
Oh, I talked about it. Justin Hoyt, how does he fit in? I think so far, Tommy, that change has been very good. It's been a very positive one.
Bone to Wiedemann, tried to get it to Hoyt. He would have had some room to work if it got there. Pittsburgh defended it well.
Very open game though, Tommy, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you're a coach, you're hoping that there's not a mistake that changes the game.
If you're FC Cincinnati right now, you're seeing the ball very well. Got to feel that one of these chances might open up. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh trying to create one. Corey Herzog, a shot. Got it past Hildebrand, but it bounces just wide of the far post.
Such a dangerous player, Tommy.
How about his job there? Collecting the ball and then getting a pretty good shot off.
Great first touch. Looks up. Just unlucky, and that's not far away.
12 inches.
Being so impressed with him.
GB to Josu. Josu back forward, was trying to get it to Wiedemann, and a bit heavy on the touch. Couple opportunities each way, but it's been a fairly quiet second half so far. Will one team find a spark in the final 15 minutes? Delbridge now down.
Interesting.
Grabbing his left elbow after he collided with his own guy right there inside the center circle.
Interesting, sorry, Tommy. It'd be interesting just to see what's the change here. This last sub with Alan Koch. Looking at the players, Kadeem Dakers, Kevin Schindler. I mean, you're looking at, do you go for height? Do you go for a player that's going to come in and be a little bit quicker, maybe underneath GB?
I don't think you've lost anything speed-wise when you look at Wiedemann
or
McLaughlin.
I think they're playing well. It's
right.
like, okay, what is the difference here? Maybe it's you take out one of the wing-backs at Josu and Justin Hoyt that have played, every minute up until now. They put in a good shift. Maybe that's the difference, is a guy like maybe Dakers comes in and plays as an extra player out wide in that extra layer.
Dakers and Schindler are certainly the two that are warming up aggressively over to the left of Alan Koch. Josu finds GB at the top of the 18. GB turns on it and sends it just wide. It was right there as he played it off his chest, struck it, and nearly gave FC Cincinnati the lead.
These ones aren't easy either, Tommy. He pops up, a long time for it to come down. Good enough technique, just unlucky. He just touches up. Just couldn't get his head and his hip over the ball as he struck it. Just goes a little bit over the bar.
GB just misses on what would have been his 12th of the year. Delbridge is fouled in the midfield. Walker's going to look to quickly get it moving forward, and then once Pittsburgh settles back, change things up, and DeVitt will come over to put it back into play. Back to GB. Knocked it down to try to get it to Wiedemann. Pittsburgh intercepts.
A lot of space opening up here, Tommy.
Herzog on the right touched it forward, but nobody home. And DeVitt will come over to collect. 11 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in the 5th ever meeting between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Rivalry that certainly has played out in heated ways on the gridiron, inside the ballparks over the years, and has been building on the pitch, both here at Nippert and at Highmark Stadium. Corbin Bone has it taken off his foot. Pittsburgh will race the other way, far side. Into the middle onto the foot of the sub Banjo. Kerr trying to center it. Wiedemann got in the way. Pittsburgh able to recover. Shot is snuck just past Hildebrandt, who dove to his right. Banjo got a great look on at it. And honestly, Kevin, there's been a lot of those plays today where it bounced for both teams.
Yeah,
has created very dangerous situations.
Obviously got to respect, Pittsburgh attack, and we've said it all game, really, Tommy. It's been a 50-50 game, very evenly matched teams. I think the opportunities have been pretty even. I'm sure when we look at the stats at the end of the game, it's going to read something close to that.
Pittsburgh won 3-0-1 in the month of August, winning 3 straight to close out the month. So they're undefeated in their last 4. As a club, they have never won, they haven't won 4 straight since 2013. So it's been 4 years since they've put together 4 straight victories. They've been a club that really has come on as of late to put themselves into the playoff picture. Alan Koch expected a battle today, and he's gotten just that. Jamal Jack comes over to handle the throw-in duties.
Still 10 minutes left, Tommy. I think we've seen this, and we've witnessed massive moments at Nippert Stadium late in the game. I think it's the case of somebody trying to create something special now.
Corey Herzog.
Hopefully not that guy.
Mishits it, yeah. He was trying to get off a left-footed shot from 35 yards away, and it just came off his foot funny and skipped out far touchline.
And Corey, I say that with all respect.
Throwing in the direction of GB, doesn't get there. Kerr sent it back, and it was intercepted. Kenny Walker has support coming from Josu. He has McLaughlin working up the middle as well. Walker trying to leave it for Delbridge. And then Harrison Delbridge will get tangled up, and Delbridge is going to go into the book as he got his arms around Kevin Kerr.
I think it's a smart foul, honestly, Tommy. It just slows down that counter-attack for Pittsburgh. They probably had even numbers, even maybe 5 against 4 at that time. It's a professional foul, but smart one at the half.
So Delbridge into the book in the 82nd minute. And Jamal Jack send it back in the direction of the attacking third. Romeo Parks gets a shot off. The sun trying to peek its way out here in the waning moments.
And Kadeem Dakers, it looks like he might be coming on, Tommy.
Please check your ticket receipt for information on redemption.
Mitch Hildebrand will wait to send it out into the midfield. And like you said, it'll be interesting to see who Alan Koch takes off to bring Kadeem into the match.
I think it's the right sub. I think Kadeem's going to come in with a lot of energy. He's probably going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder maybe for, you know, not playing as much over the last few weeks. And sometimes those emotional subs are the difference in games. Who he takes out, I think that's irrelevant. I think he's just got to bring in somebody that gives that extra energy in the last 8-9 minutes.
GB called for a foul. Kerr got a shot off. It deflects off Corbin Bone. Corner kick coming. I don't know. Well, I'm going to say goal kick. I thought that was going to be a corner kick. Maybe it caught Kerr after Bone touched it. Either way, goal kick is good for the home fans. They will see FC Cincinnati work it the other way. Dakers hasn't quite come out yet, getting his assignment from the coaching staff. But he'll have about 5 or 6 minutes plus a little bit of stoppage time to make a difference out there for Alan Koch. GB tries to head down the ball in the midfield. Now finds it on his chest. Hoyt out wide to Wiedemann. Back to DeVitt. DeVitt tried to find GB right up the middle. Didn't work out. Walker, however, now will get it to GB.
Good numbers on this far side.
Out wide to Hoyt. Hoyt sending it into the box. Headed away by Pittsburgh. Kerr finds it. GB gets in between Kerr and Perella so that he couldn't give it to his goalkeeper. Throw in just at the attacking third coming for FC Cincinnati. Jimmy McLaughlin will come off. And fresh legs coming on for Kadeem Dakers.
Fresh legs, very similar players in a way too, Tommy. High energy players.
Dakers will slide right in on the left side in that attacking position. So no more subs for Alan Koch. Delbridge forward, Dakers gets a touch. Nearly back-heeled it to Josu. Able to recover and find Bone. Into the middle, GB. GB looked to get it to his left to Dakers. Pittsburgh was there defensively.
The biggest thing with Dakers there, I think he's very unpredictable, which can be great for a coach or could drive a coach crazy, but regardless, it can be effective, especially in stages of this game.
Here's Dakers, fresh off the bench, left-footed into the middle. Pittsburgh clears it off the line. Corner kick coming for the orange and blue in the 86th minute. Walker, who has looked sharp on the set pieces all afternoon, will come over to take it. Come from the near side.
Similar setup with Pittsburgh, just in your screen there. Bringing all 10 outfield players back.
Walker on the corner kick. Into the middle, tried to get it to Wiedemann. Herzog playing back, deflected away.
To play short here, Tommy, on this.
And you saw Wiedemann immediately come over with that thought that pulled Herzog away for the moment. Or I check it was Kurt, doesn't really matter who it was. And now everybody's going to settle back inside of the 18. See what Walker can do. Looking for Barry, headed straight up into the air. Now cleared away by Pittsburgh, but right to Walker. Can he do something with it? Walker outside the 18, sends it back, looking far post for GB, didn't get there. Dakers onto his chest. Back to Walker on the left. He has Josu for support if he needs him. He decides against it. GB with a header just a hair high over the crossbar.
Great ball in again by Kenny Walker. Finds his target. GB does really well to get over the defender. Jumps up big, just unable to get kind of over the top of it, Tommy, and redirect that onto frame.
Has to be 3 balls for FC Cincinnati that have missed by about a foot. Pittsburgh, I think, has had 2.
It's certainly been very evenly matched.
Battle in the midfield. Delbridge coming forward. Dakers came back to deflect it. Now DeVitt trying to get it out of there. Hildebrandt comes off his line and collects. 3 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here in the Queen City. 22,000 plus, hoping for some late match fireworks. City's biggest fireworks show takes place tomorrow. And FC Cincinnati find a burst here late. Of course, that fireworks show will be shown right here on Local 12 in Cincinnati if you want to not battle the crowds. You have that nice Newport living down there.
Come to my backyard, Tommy.
I might be in your backyard.
Small
for that.
nominal fee.
Okay, yeah, we'll see. I'll bring my folding chair. How about that? Hang out with your old man and watch the fireworks.
There you go.
Corbin Bone across the midfield. Delbridge trying to get it to Dakers. A bit too tall for Kadeem. Pittsburgh is going to counter with a late substitution. Kenroy Howell, another Jamaican forward, will come on, his 11th appearance of the season. And Romeo Parks, who's had some great touches, comes out. So both teams out of substitutions and running out of time trying to find their second goal. Wiedemann with a run to the attacking third. Gives it off to Dakers. Dakers trying to get into the middle. A sliding tackle by Jamal Jack. Deflects it away, and another corner kick coming.
Big moment again. Wiedemann does really well just to slip him in. Dakers does well to get a corner kick. Another good opportunity here, Tommy.
Corner kicks brought to you by the Levy Law Offices. Turn your crash into cash. Visit LevyLawOffices.com today. Walker from the near side. Across the middle. Headed to the far post. GB gets his head on it. Dakers was cut down. Again out on the end line. And again a corner kick with Walker taking it. Sem DeVitt.
I think the only interesting thing, or the biggest interesting thing here, Tommy, I think Pittsburgh, and look, you'll see here before Kenny Walker takes his next corner kick, how they're set up. They don't really have anyone that's second ball in the top of the box.
Walker to the top of the 6. It's deflected away by Pittsburgh, who literally was parking the bus right in front of the goal. Four minutes, we are told, will be added on of stoppage time. It's going to bring up a few more tense moments, I'm guessing. GB didn't win it on his chest. Pittsburgh back into the midfield. Kadeem Dakers has other plans. Brings it to Josu. Josu back to Dakers. Dakers gets it into the middle. Pittsburgh turns it away. Corbin Bone keeps it alive in the final third. Dakers with a ton of space.
A lot of space.
Into the 18, off of Jack. Josu will pick it up and send it into the middle, but it goes right to the chest of Perella.
Sure, he's just disappointed with that delivery, Tommy.
Yeah, certainly not the intention. There was not an orange jersey near Perella as it came on to him.
FC just got to make sure they get back now and do their defensive duties. They're trying to push hard, obviously, for this, the difference of this goal.
GB trying to win the ball, cannot. Pittsburgh picks it back up with Washington. The defensive plays in the box by Taylor Washington today. The only reason the Riverhounds aren't trailing this match.
I think Washington's been fantastic for Pittsburgh, actually, Tommy.
Delbridge with a tackle in the midfield. Wiedemann watches Okai go around him. And then Kenny Walker provides support. 1 minute into 4 of stoppage time. Wiedemann to GB. looking for some support, and it comes in the direction of Bone. Back to the big striker. Out wide for Hoyt. Hoyt to the end line. Sends it across too strong, and the flag went up far side that it went out on the end line. It'll be a goal kick for Perella, much to the chagrin of the fans in the Bailey.
And change of gear there by Justin Hoyt. Good past the defender. I think he was convinced that it stayed in.
Still about 2 minutes for Alan Koch and FC Cincinnati. Try and find a game-winning goal. You talked about providing the support defensively as everybody's pushing forward after one of those corner kicks. Alan Koch was jumping up and down in the air, waving his arms, trying to get everybody to race back so that Pittsburgh didn't get an odd number rush the other way. Foul will be called on Pittsburgh in the midfield. Give FC Cincinnati a chance to get it moving forward. DeVitt onto the left, Josu. Heads it down to Delbridge. Josu to Dakers.
Oh,
Dakers trying to make something happen, and he is fouled by Jamal Jack. And Jamal Jack is going into the books. I think it may be for dissent for his reaction after the fact. Either way.
Out of the stiff arm, I think.
A yellow card has been issued to Pittsburgh's number 20.
Dakers just cuts inside.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's for the foul.
It's an obvious foul.
Oh, great spot here for Kenny Walker. As Jamal Jack picks up his 5th yellow card of the season, he will have to sit Pittsburgh's next match. For an accumulation suspension means he will not play next Saturday against Louisville City. Significant late yellow for Pittsburgh, and a huge moment here for Kenny Walker and FC Cincinnati. Not much time left here at Nippert.
Surprised to see 4 players out of the box, actually.
Walker with his right foot bounces inside the 6-yard area, and now it'll be picked up by Perella as it snuck through and nobody able to get a foot on it.
Both teams might be satisfied with the tie.
Ball headed back to Delbridge. See how much time Joseph Dickerson's going to let play, and the answer is none. The final whistle sounds, and a draw here tonight in the 5th ever meeting between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. A key point in the standings, but certainly not the 3 that Alan Koch and the home crowd had hoped for.
No, a point for sure. It's, you know, you're definitely going to take that. I think you've got to also respect Pittsburgh coming in here, showing a lot of attack, and really defensively, I thought they kind of kept FC Cincinnati's attack at bay. So a pretty even game. I think 1-1 at the end of the day. Tom, I think it's a fair result.
Tonight's moment of the match is driven by Toyota. Let's go places, and pretty easy to pick what the moment was for FC Cincinnati. They needed a boost of energy late in the first half, and they found it thanks to an awkward bounce to the foot of Andrew Wiedemann.
Certainly a lucky bounce, but what a finish by Andrew Wiedemann. Does really well to kind of see that space and recognize where the goalkeeper is, and a first-time strike, bending into the side net. Fantastic goal.
Second goal on the season for the native of California, and it ends up being the equalizer that ends this match in a draw. The final score, FC Cincinnati 1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds 1. We'll recap the match and hear from Alan Koch when we return. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. FC Cincinnati and Pittsburgh end in a 1-1 draw here at Nippert Stadium before 22,643. Save time every time when you use online check-in for a great haircut at Great Clips. It's gonna be great. Great Clips, great save, and Mitch Hildebrand answers the bell when needed.
Yeah, I think Herzog really challenged him early, but Mitch was very comfortable with his first few saves and did really well.
Pittsburgh did well to challenge the veteran goalkeeper, and Mitch answered the bell. Lindsey Patterson is with Alan Koch. Let's head down to the pitch.
Coach, the effort was there, the opportunities were there, but you just couldn't get that second goal. I know every match matters, every point matters. You do walk away with a draw, but what does this do for you guys going forward?
Oh, it's a big point. So obviously we competed against a team that we're competing against directly to get into the playoffs. So going a goal down that early was certainly not a positive, and we weren't very, very happy with how we started the game. But to have the character to come back and then to really keep going at them at the end from a performance perspective, we're happy. And that's all we can really focus on. And a good performance normally leads to a positive result. Having said that, we know we needed to put in a 90-minute performance tonight. And by not showing up in the first 5 minutes, we obviously put ourselves in a bit of a hole that we had to dig ourselves out of. But to have the character to come back against a good Pittsburgh team, they're a very, very good team. We're pleased with the character shown by the guys to come back. We're pleased with the performance in the last 85 minutes, and it definitely gives us something to build on through the final 6 games.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Lindsey, and we appreciate the time from Alan Koch all week preparing for the match, but also tonight as well. Today's match highlights are presented by Toyota. For all the latest Toyota offers, visit buytoyota.com. And those first 5 minutes that Alan was talking about, here we go, Kevin. An early strike for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Herzog was such a good and dangerous player for Pittsburgh tonight. Can't give him that space. He turns, and what a finish to put Pittsburgh in the lead. And
this is Walker set things up, yeah.
The answer goal, really. Matt Painter slips in. Danny Kinnick unlucky, but great intuitive movement by Andrew Wiedemann to pick up that space, and what a finish to tie up the game. And really, that's really what the game ended in.
Sometimes when you're unlucky, you still get lucky.
Oh, for sure.
and Wiedemann did there, and then GB, this look here, probably the best chance FC Cincinnati had to win it.
I think it was the best chance in the second half. Yeah, just unlucky that the ball came down and was just unable to kind of wrap his hips around it. Just saw that last header as well. Great ball in by Kenny Walker, just unlucky to finish at the back post.
Today's Man of the Match is presented by You Pull and Pay. Find the parts you need fast and save at You Pull and Pay. And you just saw him, Andrew Wiedemann, with the equalizer. FC Cincinnati needed a goal, and he buried his second of the year.
He came up with, not many, I'd say, big opportunities created tonight, I think, but when it did, Andrew Wiedemann came up big for that. I think it was a great finish. I also think he was very dynamic in his attack. I think he worked hard to get underneath both targets, Danny Kinney and GB when he came on. So for me, Andrew Wiedemann's the man of the match.
Well, he had a couple opportunities there to score a second goal and give FC Cincinnati the lead in the second half. So a draw for FC Cincinnati, and they remain in the playoff picture. They're next on the road at Harrisburg on September 12th. Once again, our final score from Nippert Stadium: FC Cincinnati 1 and Pittsburgh 1. Up next for the Orange and Blue, a trip to Harrisburg to take on the City Islanders on September 12th at 6:30. Our next broadcast comes here from Nippert September 16th when FC Cincinnati hosts New York Red Bulls 2. The action begins at 7 on Star 60 on Local 12 and ESPN 1530. For Lindsey Patterson, Kevin McCloskey, our producer David Ashbrook, I'm Tom Gallagher saying so long and good night from Nippert Stadium.